Preparations are underway in Washington for President Trump's, quote, salute to America July 4th celebration on the National Mall. The president asking the Defense Department to show off military tanks and fighter jets during the event. The Pentagon says 2 60-ton tanks will remain in a static position on the mall, and the Blue Angels and a Navy F-35 stealth fighter will fly overhead. Critics say all this will cost millions of dollars that could be better spent elsewhere, and some worry the tanks will tear up the mall. Here's what the president has to say, though.
We're going to have a great 4th of July in Washington, D.C. It'll be like no other. We're going to have planes going overhead, the best fighter jets in the world, and other planes, too. And we're going to have some tanks stationed outside. And we have some incredible equipment, military equipment on display, brand new, and we're very proud of it.
Okay, Brian, you mentioned you do love a parade. I just want to throw a couple other things into the mix here. We all know 4th of July is not supposed to be partisan. The RNC is selling tickets to this, and the DNC hasn't been allotted any as to this point. And where do we usually see stuff like this? Like Russia and China. So do you think this is a good way?
It's not a military parade. Yeah. It's a few armored vehicles and a flyover, which you get at every NASCAR race. So let's put that in perspective.
Look, here's my point. There are Americans who drive tanks. There are Americans who fly planes. This is part of who we are. It's part of defending our...
Should the president be there? It's supposed to be nonpartisan.
Why not? He's the commander-in-chief.
If a Democratic president was up there, you'd be totally chill?
With
Democratic president wouldn't be.
I don't understand.
Enough of this Democrats aren't patriots thing. I can't take it.
Why would we be upset if a Democrat president was there?
That's my point. Why are you? It's not a particularly partisan question. The U.S. military serves Republicans and Democrats alike.
So why has our president before him said this should be about me?
No, look. When there's a tank up there, if I'm watching this with my kids ask the question.
Trump thinks it's about him.
What is this and why is it there? And we get a chance to talk about defending the United States, what a military is for, what is that tank, who drives it. Guess what? It's somebody in your town. It's a kid my brother graduated with. This is the conversation that I think most Americans understand intuitively. This is part of the fabric of who we are. Why in the world can't we talk about it on Independence Day? And the answer is you can't unless you make it this big partisan thing, which is what everybody in the media wants to make it.
So
unless the Blue Angels are spelling out Trump with their contrails in the air, then it's not about him. It is a representation of the military. And let's put it in perspective, because Lucas Tomlinson, Tommy, reported about the flyovers. The B-2 stealth bomber, it flies over the Rose Bowl every year. The Blue Angels, again, flyovers at every NASCAR race. There are 2 Army M1 Abrams that will be there. If they can work out the logistics, they arrive via rail from Georgia, and 2 Bradley fighting vehicles. That is it. There is no parade.
Okay, why is the RNC selling tickets then, Tommy?
I don't work for the RNC, so I don't know. But what I'm telling you is this.
You seem to think that Democrats...
It's an American thing. President Trump is proud of his country. He's the president of the United States. He's not making it about him. He has, from the beginning, said, I make America great again, America first. He celebrates his country. What is so wrong? Why are the Democrats so mad that he wants to celebrate his dang country? It's all of our country. It's the left that's pushing it out, saying we don't want to show patriotism. We don't want to show military strength. Why? It's the country.
The presidency is not synonymous with patriotism.
It should be.
No, there are people, we elect people who represent parties.
Wait. The president shouldn't be patriotic?
No, the president should be patriotic, but he shouldn't co-opt an event that has always been nonpartisan for his own purposes. He wants military to flank him. The military is nonpartisan. The RNC, as I said, is selling... How do I know that? They're supposed to be. They serve the commander-in-chief.
Motives to him that you don't know. He wants to celebrate the 4th of July.
Well, he can do that. He can have his own party. He can have his own rally. You don't take over the mall. You don't take over the Lincoln Memorial.
They're taking in private donations to help pay for a lot of this.
It's still going to cost the U.S. a ton of money. That's true. And
I would have had no problem if President Obama did this. I would have
celebrated it.
I can't. Oh my God, Tommy, front row at President Harris's Lincoln Memorial address, 4th of July, 2021. I will see you there.
If I would see a Democratic president celebrate and love this country to the extent that Donald Trump loves this country, I would celebrate.
This is just so ridiculous. We have so many veterans running for office on the Democratic side. We had a camel
So why is there a problem with it? Then Pete Buttigieg should be so excited he should go to that.
So we should only celebrate veterans and members of the military who are outright
Tommy
Democrats.
Is implying that Democrats are not patriots and that we don't. I have a problem with what President Trump is doing.
Let's take it down one notch. Let me ask you, I don't understand, why do you have such a problem with this show and with the president being there, being about 4th of July? Why is it, what's
because
so wrong
he's
with
turning something that is about celebrating our birthday into something that is about him. He has
It's not about
really
him. We don't see
selling
that.
tickets through a Republican
It's free.
arm.
Anybody can go and watch the fireworks and go and let their kids climb on the tanks if they're there. It's free.
I am being wrapped, and obviously, no, I would enthusiastically continue this discussion.